We haven't had a great start to the show, have we? We were an hour late for a start. But I blame that on having guests in the studio. So that's just one of those things. But then we couldn't get the Ethernet to work with our Mevo, which is a big part of it actually working, actually having internet.
Yeah, helps.
So,
helps.
yeah, forget about all that. We're on now, apparently. So let's go. What have you got? Questions? Let's do this. What's going on?
Steve Kelly. Steve wants to come in, actually. We need to get him in.
Yeah, so.
Steve. We'll sort it. All right, lads, don't want to blow your trumpets here, but I have to say the content already this season has been brilliant. Keep up the good work. I think it's time to try 4-4-2. I've always thought unless you're playing top teams at home, you should always go with 2 strikers on the pitch. What are your thoughts on that?
2 strikers on the...
4-4-2?
No, I think more of a proper 4-3-3. I think the problem is nowadays the game's changed from having a 4-4-2. You get overrun in midfield. The game has changed. You've got to change with it, but we haven't quite changed with it because we still play this formation, which I think needs to be looked at. And listen, Steve, what would you rather have? 2 forwards or 3 forwards? Because that's the way it should be. We should be playing with 3 forwards, and we're not. So get it sorted. Marco.
Okay. I mean, there is some teams that do play with 4-4-2. Atletico Madrid very famously play with it. Leicester, Bournemouth adopted, although they changed back to 4-3-3 at the weekend. I think there's times when you can play it, but I think in general, your default setting there should be a tinkering with our formation at the moment. We tried 4-2-3-1 for a long time.
The graphics and everything, but you know, hey ho, we'll get on with it.
But yeah.
So what's happening? Come on, what's anything in the comments?
There was a lot, yeah. Yeah, Mr. Archie, I'm just going to say hello, lads. Performance from the weekend still lingering in my head. Disgraceful on so many levels and in so many different areas. Top half team at best right now. Are we a top half team at best right now, though? We were on Sunday.
I don't even know we're that good.
Yeah, I don't think we were that good on Sunday, but it depends whether Sunday is in isolation or not, doesn't it? If Sunday's an isolated game, then yeah, put it to bed and
but
go
we said
again.
This after the Villa
No,
game,
I know, but if it carries on, then you're right. You know, be lucky to be top half because the away form is woeful. Adam Galloway says, why haven't we recruited from the lower leagues for a few seasons? Holgate was the last one, I think. Seems to be a lot of talent down there at the moment.
I don't know. Is there a lot of talent? The problem is there's a lot of talent. If there is a lot of talent, people want you to pay a lot of money for that talent, and I think that's the main problem, isn't it? They find value elsewhere, and I don't know. I don't know what the talent is. If I'm honest, I don't see a lot of talent. I must admit.
People like Jared Bowen, who scored a lot of goals last season, but no one went for him. At Hull, obviously Che Adams has gone to Southampton. Has he done great? And so.
Yeah.
It's difficult, isn't it? Ped's right. The amount of money that you get charged for these players. That's why managers and coaches and scouts would rather dip into Europe and get more value for money, I expect. Kane Forshaw says, where to start, lads? Missed the live stream yesterday because I went the under-23s. But anyway, why do we never win away games? Everyone's saying it's just Silva, it's fault, but how can 4 or 5 managers have the same problem? Don't understand it. Even Moyes struggled too. We're so soft and predictable. We rely on crosses into the box and our whole right side can't cross. We're too slow. Nobody can carry the ball forward for us like Barkley used to, as much as I dislike him. We really do need a player like him. But I'm really worried now because Silva just doesn't learn from the mistakes of last season and from the first 3 away games this season. For me, we won't go anywhere without winning these away games. I am fuming. Pay all the money week in, week out to be let down. It's all about the journeys. And also, why do all managers we get just play one style of play?
I don't know. I don't know. It's like it's ingrained in the club that we have to play this 4-2-3-1. And I really don't know. Well, I don't really see where the success has been with it.
It hasn't been. any success. Proven by, we've not got into the Champions League places, we've not won a trophy, we've not been in Europe consistently and gone far in that. We're not scoring millions of goals. So to me, it's an outdated formation. It's a negative formation now.
The formation the top clubs play in the world is 4-3-3. That's the formation. You know, that's the formation that Pep Guardiola had at Barcelona and brought over. And yet we continue to play. I don't know whether it's because of the players we've got or the players we haven't got, but a lot of teams will go with 3 in the midfield who can do a combination. One of them will be a real sort of defensive midfielder, but can pass.
Yeah.
And the other 2 are a combination, maybe with different strengths. One is a very, very good passer and one can drive forward. And for whatever reason, we've decided not to go with that mix. And I mean, it's been said a million times before, Gylfi Sigurdsson is the major reason probably why we've opted out from playing there. But maybe at some point you have to say to Gylfi Sigurdsson, to get the best out of you, we're going to have to either drop you deeper or drop you altogether. Because he's like a throwback to the old-fashioned number 10s that didn't have to do anything else. But those players created or scored. Now, I know Gylfi scored a hell of a lot of goals last season, but at some point you've got to evolve the team for the sake of the whole team, not for one player. And I think we're coming to that point now where the manager's got to make a bold decision and say to Gylfi Sigurdsson, you either drop back and play in a flat 3 with 2 other players, and then you can push Richarlison on and Iwobi or Bernard. And the other problem is in the whole system, I think, is Seamus Coleman, because he doesn't get up the right enough to allow Richarlison to push on. So maybe it's a combination of those 2 factors. I don't know, but something's got to change, I think, because even if it was play one system at home and play a slightly different system away, we play the same system home and away. Well, surely by what we've been doing away from home, something has got to change naturally, because it's just not good enough. It really isn't.
No, it's crap. It's crap to watch. You just look and think, how will it change without being bold?
Yeah.
How do we evolve this team? There's good players in it. There's no question about that. There's a lot of talent. There's a lot of attacking talent. But if it's too disjointed, Andy always, the Piv always talks about we struggle in a low block, and he's right, we do. When teams don't want to come out, we don't know what to do. Our default is pass it wide and hope that Luca Dean can pick someone out. And to pick someone out in a cross, it's got to be a perfect ball. It's got to be a great run by your centre forward, and it's got to be poor defending, really, because they've not been alive. And the amount of times that happens in a game, like Sunday, it happened once. The good cross by Richarlison and Dominic Calvert-Lewin done really well and scored a good header. But that's not going to win you loads of games, because that'll only work really once in a game. And you have to be... Look at Liverpool, whether we like it or not. Look at them. They're the top of the league, so you'll always look at them. They attack many different ways. They have they have balls thrown in from both full-backs. They go through the middle. I mean, they go direct balls. They have through ball. I mean, the goals at the weekend, one come down the wing, ball inside, great finish. The second goal was a through ball by Firmino, I think, to Mane, the keeper made a hash of it and he scored. But the third goal was a lovely build-up right through the middle, a nice little bit of play, and Salah runs on and scores. Everton don't do that. We go down the wing and try to cross, we won't mix it up. And, if you're Burnley, you can look ahead and go, our next home game's Everton, we know that they'll play 4-2-3-1. This is what they'll do. Whereas...
And the crosses for them will be...
They'll be et up all day.
They'll love that. Whereas if you're going through the middle of the park and you're mixing up a little bit and
running at them,
you're making things difficult for them, and we don't do that. And
imagine if we went to Burnley and played Bernard on the left, Richarlison on the right, Moise Keane through the middle, and played high up, said stay on their back three, and you put Iwobi in midfield with Gomez and Delph, say, as a 3 and said to Iwobi, drive on. Said to Gylfi, like, you're going to sit out for this when you sub. And if it opens up a bit, we can put you on to pick them off. We'd have someone like Iwobi that carries the ball naturally through the middle. Then Delph and Gomez can police that. And then you've got 3 high up, so Burnley would have to leave 4 defenders at the back. And you'd pull them around and they'd have to think differently. But if we just go to Burnley with Dominic Calvert-Lewin up front, so his biggest thing is in the air. Well, they've got Tarkowski and Ben Mee who will eat that up all day.
Of course.
So immediately your default is you're hoping for a free kick from Luca Dean you just got to mix it up. We've got the players. At times we've been more offensive with worse players.
Yeah.
So I think the manager, and like you say, I back him and I'll defend him, but the manager's got to be clever now and go, right, the good thing about managers is, or the best managers is, they know when to change what's not working and they evolve it. Klopp's done it with Liverpool. He's evolved the way when they were all about running around like headless chickens for a while, and it got them so far in the season, and he fell on the knees and it was like they're knackered now and they'd lost points and stuff. And he's evolved the way they play. They used to play with Coutinho and almost like a diamond. They got rid of that and now play this very offensive 4-3-3, which is kind of what Man City play as well. We've got to evolve. And the manager, who's always said his preferred formation is 4-3-3, now's the time to start playing that preferred formation. Otherwise, we're not going to win these away games, Kane, and we are going to hit what is a brick wall. Knackered now because we spent so long trying to get the blooming stream up. Let's see if is there anything on YouTube there? No, it's not, is there? Everyone's probably just binned it.
Everyone's give up on us.
Everyone's just like, this is rubbish. This is like Everton's away form.
It is.
What we're going to try and do is we're going to try and aim to get everything working by 5 o'clock in future. Doubt the internet won't come up on my thing. But, you know, it is what it is. It's been a trying start to the week.
Yeah.
That's what we'll say. Starting on Sunday at 2 o'clock. You know, and we come in here and people are happy and whistling and walking around. And I got asked to do a show on the Redmen last week. And I thought, yeah, we'll go to Bournemouth and win and then I can go on and be all proud. And Everton me off. And I had to go and sit in there and listen to people telling me what was wrong with Everton. And
do you know what though? It's not always bad having someone tell you, giving you an outside perspective. You know what I mean? I don't think it's the worst thing in the world if someone gives you an outside perspective on what the issues are. I don't think that's the worst thing in the world.
No.
If someone, I know we don't like to hear it, but if someone, and we are probably the worst people actually for outside perspectives as Evertonians. We hate pundits and we hate people. I mean, I don't mind it if someone's like properly objective.
yeah,
I suppose the problem is there's just so many knobheads trying to be objective on the TV and stuff. Well, they're not objective because they're just doing it for their own bitterness. I mean, as we said yesterday on shows and probably on the live show, is pundits just don't like Marco Silva. They just don't like him. They don't like him, and they haven't liked him from the day he walked into Hull because they thought.
Because they didn't know him.
Well, they didn't know him, but they also thought that British managers
Mike Phelan
should have the job. And then when he went to Watford, they didn't like it. And when he left Watford, they didn't like it. And they just don't like him. That's the problem. So they're not willing to. Whereas other managers will get a chance and they'll be like, they'll never like with Marcus, with Roberto Martinez. Like even at the end, Danny Murphy's like, oh, we should be giving him a chance. He should be this and that. None of them will give Silva a chance, and it rubs off on fans then, and then it becomes nasty. Like, you know what I mean? I mean, I'll say a lot of. Not nasty things about the manager. I won't say nasty things. I'll be hypercritical of him, but I also won't be like vengeful. Too am I then? Because what's the point?
Joanna Hayes says, "What is the point of Theo Walcott?"
Joanna, what's the point of life? I think that's. I don't know. And this bringing him on at 5 minutes at the end. What's the point in that?
Yeah, nonsense. That one.
Load of nonsense.
Nonsense. Simon Rouse says, "Evening lads, see we got Monster as a new sponsor. Do you think the lads?
I could do with some Monster right now. I feel
the lads drinking it might give the team the
No, it's horrendous. It's for goths.
Mr. Archer done your video on the Tuesday Topper, check it out. Says lunch break's over, we'll have to watch you when it get done. Keep up the good work.
Sorry, mate.
He wants you to howl like the wolf.
Ow!
Okay, I mean that was long. Stephen Kelly said...
Look at them looking in.
Stephen Kelly says, looks like we're getting a great deal. Heard we're getting more than we paid for Tosin if those reports are correct. I don't believe for 1 minute we are getting more than £25 million for Cenk Tosin. Not a chance. Stephen Kelly...
I'm just waiting for the comments.
Yeah.
Now
Stephen Kelly also says time to give Sidibe a go on Saturday for me. Would you subscribe to that, Ped?
For £3 a month, I would,
Yeah.
No, Sidibe,
What would you just wait?
Sheffield Wednesday, I would definitely play him. And then after that 90 minutes, I'd make a judgment on whether you play him in the next Premier League game. But
Against Man City.
That's just me without looking at him every day in training.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And the manager will know himself whether he's ready to go. But I do think that needs to be an issue in terms of putting pressure on Seamus Coleman, because I do think Seamus Coleman is one of our biggest issues at the moment.
Simon Rouse says we should never start with Morgan as it's too negative. We need to stop this safe crap. We are playing as it allows the opposition to go forward with teams like Palace, Villa and Bournemouth. And with who we have in the team, we should be attacking them more and our quality, keeping them pinned back and creating chances.
Sorry, there's more to do there.
If Silva wants to play 4-3-3, do it. Ditch this formation with a DM, even if it means Gylfi needs to drop back.
I was listening to a bit of the under-23s last night, and I heard the commentator and co-commentator say that Schneiderlin was the best of the bunch on Sunday.
Well, he was passing the ball 2 yards, side to side.
I find that very interesting. That's what they thought.
Who was on the commentary?
Darren Griffiths and Ian Snowden.
Snods. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't want to add anything to that. Joanna Hayes says, I may have missed this at some point over the many years I've followed you guys, but what is your origin story? How did you meet and decide to do this all together?
Basically what happened was I was locked up by not wanting to fight for the Empire, and they threw me in a mud pit, and when I got down there was this dead hairy Wookiee there, and I shaved him, and that's where Baz came from. We changed his name from Chewie. I changed my name from Han. We went around the galaxy for a few years in the Millennium Falcon, and decided to retire to this, essentially.
I mean, really, if that story was real, you would be Chewbacca and I would be Han. I mean, you've got the height and everything.
I suppose, to be fair,
Chewbacca's cool.
To be fair, out of the two of them, Han is the one who tends to think he's in control, but it's actually Chewbacca who's doing all the stuff behind the scenes to keep it all going.
There you go. So maybe that's it.
Maybe that is it.
Maybe that is the real origin story.
Maybe that is
Joanne, you've know our story. You've followed us for years. In fact, KCC, I remember you having conversations with you back in 2012, 2013.
To be fair, it would have been quite difficult for me to have done this with Eric. So
we done KCC together back then in the day.
Remember?
In 2012, didn't we? And the radio stuff, and then basically I just said we should do some video stuff, and we did in the studio first, with the camera first, actually recording just the show we were doing,
some piping,
and then we done lead piping in the ballroom. We done green screen stuff from the studio, then we had the Winslow, and then slowly but surely just grew it to this, and we want to grow it even more. So
we've actually grown it past the technology that we have. The technology we have can't cope.
Can't cope
with us.
Which is mad. So can't cope with what we want to do.
It looks all right there, actually, with the shirt. It looks good.
No, it does look good. Does look good. As long as it works and he can hear us, that's key, really.
In fact, tomorrow when we're getting a new little piece of kit, we can do the live streams actually with the normal camera if the meal's not working. There you go, see?
Yeah, look, Kane, KCC live forever. See, Kane was there at the beginning as well.
He was.
He was huge.
The thing is, we just literally walked out and KCC didn't even tell them we weren't coming back. I do feel slightly arse.
I don't, because they were rubbish for us in the end. They put us in a studio, me, you and Johnny Milburn once, that literally had a bit of cotton wool on the wall, and we held, John Milburn had to hold his mic.
They've got all new, like, they've moved now, haven't they? They've moved to a new building and everything, so...
We wanted to get more, they just wouldn't give us stuff though, would they?
We were trying to make it really professional,
Yeah,
and they were like,
wanna.
we're like a community radio station, so...
They didn't care.
But
They didn't
I
care.
remember actually, it was Boss that was so
That
unique.
was.
Like once I did a show once, and then Radio City went, can you do this, record the show for us? And I was actually live doing a show on Radio City, and I was also going out on KCC at the same time. I mean, and I never got paid for either of them.
The power of, you're paid in experience.
I did get paid in experience, and now I get paid in Umbro jumpers.
Yeah, and that's the way forward.
And
That is the dream.
And sweets from America.
And sweets, yeah. The commentator and co-commentator are deluded at the under-23s, and I also know they're yes men at the club, still not naming any names.
Well,
I mean,
I've named who they are, but I'm not saying that the people you're saying are... I mean, let's be fucking honest, right? Apologies for swearing. This is in the circle of trust. They're shite. They're shite. Both of them are shite. Let's be honest. They're both crap. I can't really be arsed going round the houses. This is the circle of trust on Patreon. Both of them are absolute yes men. Both of them are comfy in their jobs and I mean, for God's sake, one of them did an Atomic Kitten reunion thing last week. So I'm not asked. It should be me and Baz doing that. Let's be honest, we'd be amazing. If me and Baz were the under-23 commentators, or even if we were the first team commentators, we'd be amazing. We'd call a spade a spade. If someone was having a terrible game, we'd say they were having a terrible game instead of all this, oh, weren't we unlucky today? No, you were shit! But that's just the way the club is, and that's the way the club is run. They're terrified of anyone getting upset by anyone saying anything upset. It's one of the reasons they're terrified of letting us interview people at the club, is because they think we're going to say mad things, which we wouldn't. But anyway, they are both useless and yes men. But they like their jobs. They like their jobs, don't they? Well, they do, don't they?
Well, they do, and I suppose they can only say what they can say, can't they?
They like their jobs.
If you what you would hear on screen won't be what they think.
No,
that's a fact,
of course it won't.
Isn't it? So you don't listen, because
I don't listen.
No, but I'm saying that's the thing, is that we know from speaking to people that it's different, isn't it?
One of those people was asking us in the summer who we were buying.
It's just, listen, it is what it is. I just look at it and think, they do the job. They're not going to say anything because they have to go and work with those people. They have to go to Finch Farm and see the players and stuff, so they're never going to... They don't... My only issue with the whole thing is that you can say Seamus Coleman's had a bad game, if he's had a bad game. Just because you're going to see him on Monday. If he turn around and go, why are you saying about a bad game? Say, well, because you have. But you're better than that.
But I think this is what actually holds the club back in terms of media, is because Liverpool have like a press show where Steve Hoddlesall hosts it, and they get like Ford and Paul's been on it, and they'll get different people on. And Steve said to me himself, he said, you know, he has to make sure it gets reined in and it doesn't go it doesn't go too far.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you debate stuff that's going on, and I think I've said this for ages. There'd be nothing better than if Everton had a show at 5:30 after the 3 o'clock game on the pitch, where you take questions and comments from, especially if it's like behind like the paywall on the website, where everyone who's logged in can just openly say a question without saying so and so is a dickhead, like you would get if it was maybe just on Twitter.
Edit it out, wouldn't you?
No, and that's the thing is, right, if someone came on here now, say when we do the YouTube show tomorrow, and someone writes something like someone...
Copyrights always
we don't have to read it out, we don't have to respond to it. You know, we just go delete, that's gone. No one ever sees that comment. we don't have to read that comment, we don't have to say that. If we want to reply to it, we can, because this is our own channel. But if we don't, then, and that's what Everton have got the power to do if they want to. Okay, something like a phone-in's different. But even that can be like, can be filtered, can't it? So,
it is mad.
They're just terrible.
Kane said, didn't you do videos on Everton, the Everton YouTube at one point? What happened to that? We did. We done a few for them, but it was, the problem was the person who was happy for us to do that then left, and they passed it on to somebody else, and somebody else thought it was a good idea for us to preview matches 4 weeks in advance.
Yeah.
So because they wanted to film a few like previews at a time, which was nonsense. So you'd be talking, I remember we were playing West Ham and we were like, well, yeah, they could have him up front, and we were trying to like do it as if it was, you know, gonna be on Saturday, and it was just.
I actually
ridiculous.
interviewed Joanne outside Goodison.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was Everton's camera crew, and it was like it was like a fan reaction thing that Everton said we'll do, and then like.
We've done a couple, didn't we?
We did a couple, and then it never happened again. And you know, you didn't get the edit till like the Tuesday or the Wednesday, and then we put it out, and it was very early on, and they were like, and then as you just said, it was like a guy up here was like, yeah, and then he was like, I'll pass it to the next guy, and it kept on getting passed down, to the point where it was probably getting passed to someone who was probably a bit worried about their job. And that's another thing about Everton, and this is brutally honest, is that people are always worried about their jobs and worried about other people doing their jobs better than they do at Everton. So they don't want to do things, they don't want to try new things, because they're always worried that someone's going to take their job off them, which we would easily do if we were given the opportunity, let's be honest.
No, we wouldn't. We'd work with them. We wouldn't want to work for someone else, do we? Why would we? Why would we?
Fat cash.
To work for Everton, you wouldn't be able to do what we do.
Well, I know. You know what? At some point, some is going to start doing what we do. They are, and they're going to change it for everybody. They're going to change. Someone's just going to go, let's just be ballsy and let's just do content that is. Because I think what's happening with this is we're reaching a point, and like the Red Men are reaching a point, especially the Red Men because they've got money behind them. Is that their analysis is so good for games, and the way they do things is so good that they're going to get to a point where it's going to come away from this like whole Arsenal fan TV calling everyone a knobhead, where you actually do sit down and talk about the game properly, but from a fan's point of view. And I think at some point, some club is just going to take that on board and go, that's the way we're going to start doing things. And other clubs then will go, oh, that we should start doing that. Because you've already seen the likes of Sky Sports and the BBC start to take it. And all right, it might be on their mainstream like channel, but they'll have a YouTube channel. Like we've seen James Olcott, who we've worked with before, and he used to do Ball Street, and we did loads of stuff. So he's just started a show on YouTube, which is the Premier League, and it's a fantasy football show, and it takes all the elements that he's learned doing fan stuff, and it gives a reputable company like the Premier League that little bit of a edge and makes it a little bit edgy. And you've seen that all over the internet, and on the telly. You look at some like the BBC Three programmes that are really well done, but they've got that little bit of an edge that attract people, because people are now living on YouTube. My nephew doesn't watch anything unless it's on YouTube. He doesn't watch, so it might be Netflix and YouTube, but it'll be more YouTube. So at some point, the clubs have got to cotton on that what we're doing is what people want to watch. Not, all right, it might be us, might be like younger versions of us, but I think a club will take that step, and will have to take that step. Otherwise, they're going to miss out on a big market, because more and more sponsors will start coming to, all right, again, maybe not us, but are going to come to channels with really good numbers that look at someone like that PewDiePie or whatever his name is.
PewDiePie.
He's like just got ridiculous numbers.
Well, he makes $35 million a year.
Exactly.
So he doesn't need anything.
He doesn't need it. But what I'm saying is that if you were an advertising company, you
got 100 million subscribers.
You go and look to him rather than
of course you would.
Why would you go and I'll tell you what, we'll whatever the newest Downton Abbey rip-off is, we'll go and advertise on that. No, And as actually the more and more advertising opportunities dry up, because more and more TV companies are going to the Netflix model. So where does the live sport is always is going to be the key as we go forward. Of course it is. But even that, as that drips into Amazon and YouTube and all these places. So I think football clubs soon are going to have to start realising that this is the future. None of them have yet, but soon they will, I think.
Interesting. It's interesting. Simon Rouse. Don't
do that every time.
Great. Do you think it's a coaching problem with the way we are away from Goodison? Seems to follow every manager. I also think we need a hardcore captain, one that wouldn't care about grabbing a teammate and kicking their arse, one that will argue with the ref, one that will strike fear onto the pitch and to our own players as well as the opposition. There seems to be a link with the last few years of poor away form, a weak captain. My last job, I was the manager. I had the sales manager who drove the sales team. I dreaded when my sales manager was off, as he could drive that team. It was the bridge between me and the team. It works in all forms of work, including sports. It's how you get these captains though that do that, isn't it? Are they good enough technically? Is the big thing, isn't it? I don't know, Si, to be honest. There's something's got to change. The away form is horrendous.
Yeah.
And something has to change. And we'll see how good the manager really is. I think he's a good coach, but if he doesn't know how to adapt and get this team to win 7 away games, 6 or 7, 8 away games this season, then questions will rightly be asked, because he's got the money's being put in, he's got the tools, he's had over a year to implement his ideas to these players.
The simple fact is we have to win 8 away games and let's say 14 home games to get top 6. So
there you go. Joanna Hayes also says, I know it'd be a ton of work and impossible when you go to match, but I've always wanted an alternative commentary of matches being played.
The only way we could do that is if we were actually at the match, commentating from the match. Quite rarely. Yeah. I'd love to do it. I would love to. I think that would be brilliant. I think it'd be genius.
Alternative commentary.
I think it'd be brilliant. I think it'd be such a good laugh.
Yeah.
But again, would the club be prepared to go down that line? No. And the answer at the moment is no, but I do believe they will at some point. I do believe they will.
Having worked in a football club, and our football club, and knowing how precious people are about upsetting other people to the point where it just doesn't happen, I just don't see it. And I think the more mollycoddled footballers are as we can, it's not going the other way.
But it doesn't have to be. You wouldn't have to sit there abusing people.
No, it's not about abuse, though, Pen.
You'd sit there having a laugh. That's what I'm saying.
I sit and listen. I've sat and listened to certain people talking about players and stuff, and we couldn't say that. You know, why haven't you said that on the thing about it? No, we couldn't. But I think
at some point though, a football club will do that, because
maybe. It'll probably be Man City. Because they do everything first.
They will. Someone will do it, because they'll realise there's a
alternative.
Put it this way, right? I'm trying to think of like who's got a massive YouTube following who supports a certain club. So I don't know, but let's just say there's a massive YouTuber, right? And whoever he supports, they say, right, we want you to commentate on this game. And do you know what? This has probably already happened, I imagine. And if they say, right, we want you to do the commentary for this game, right? And they get him, and him and someone else who's another, and they get him to do it. You've already seen with the likes of this, what True Geordie's doing with those watching those games, where you just watch them and the numbers he gets for that kind of thing, right? And whether you like him or not, he does have a following. So imagine Newcastle turned around to True Geordie and said, right, we want you to do commentary for us, right? Don't swear and don't say anything like horrible about any of the players or any of the other players of the opposition. Just have a laugh. And so imagine then people start switching and going, he won't be able to do that without having a go at somebody. People would listen. People watch him already, watching the telly. It's the whole goggle box thing, isn't it? It's the idea of watching someone watching something else for their reaction. And as I say, someone will do it. You're right, it probably won't be Everton, but someone will do it because they'll understand that the following that person brings
It's worth it.
is worth it.
It's trade-off, isn't it?
I've said this before. I fully believe Paul Machin from Redmond will at some point run Liverpool's media. I genuinely do because he's got so many ideas and he understands the whole thing completely. And he's helped by the fact that he has minions to do all the technical stuff. So he can just walk in and be prepared and ready to go, and and I think he will. I think he'll have some kind of, I don't know whether or will be offered the position, not whether he'd take it because he's
his own boss, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cumbrian Toffee says Marco Silva currently in the second year of a 3-year deal. At what point do the club start contract talks? And what does he need to do this season to be offered a new deal?
Get top 6.
I honestly think if we don't get into Europe, they'll sack him.
I think
Because I don't think Moshiri, there's got to be a return on investment. There has to be.
There has to be.
2 years with a big budget.
You can't keep throwing money at it and then go
And seeing nothing back.
Because the problem is that the club at the moment. Well, I read the Swiss Ramble report last week, and that didn't make for good reading.
No, it's not good reading.
But that was last season.
Yeah.
So Everton, for all we know, I imagine it's 2. Everton have probably looked at it and gone, right, this year we won't make any money and we'll have a massive loss. Next year, by getting rid of this and this, and investing in this and this, we'll make a little bit less of a loss. And the year after, we'll start to see green shoots once all this nonsense, all these players have gone out the door. But also to help that, we need to be in the Europa League to get money off that. We need a cup one to get money off that, and we need this to get money off that, and we might need to sell a player or whatever. So the manager has to play his part in that. Now, if somebody in the sales department isn't doing their job to get X amount of money out of a kit deal or whatever, then they'll lose their job. People lose the jobs of football clubs all the time, and the manager, you would have to imagine, that would also be part of it. They'd have to sat down with the manager and said, like, we need Europa League because we need that money, which again will help and allow more money.
And sponsorships and everything.
Because you can't just keep Moshiri can't keep throwing money at it. He's got to look at it and think, I've got to keep this club on an even keel, or going up the trajectory he's going, so that when that new stadium comes around, we're ready to go in. Because ultimately, the minute we go in the new stadium, Everton will start earning a lot more money. But till we get in that stadium, he's got to keep us, bobbing along, and that's the problem he's got. So
the manager has to deliver progress, and if he doesn't, he'll be out. And it's as simple as that. Whether he's Moshiri's man or not, he'll be out, because there will come to a point where you have to have results. You've got to. So Gary Ward says, I think it boils down to certain people don't deal with honesty very well.
No,
and that's the thing. They don't like criticism. A lot of clubs, but our club in particular, hates criticism. It can't cope with it. They can't cope with it, but that's the way it is.
Right. Yeah. Any more before we go?
Don't think so. I think everyone gone was bored, got off.
There you go.
But yeah.
There you go. Okay.
All right. Well,
nice one.
We got there in the end. Thanks for persisting.
Actually, it doesn't look too bad. Actually,
no.
It's sorted itself out. But we'll be back tomorrow.
We will.
We'll be here
with vigour.
Yeah. I don't know why I'm dead tired.
You're making me knackered.
I don't know why I'm tired.
I don't know. It's like someone's.
I'm not even going to tell you what time I got up.
Don't tell me. Someone's gone.
I think it's because I actually haven't eaten.
Yeah, I think I'm a bit like that.
I brought me noodles, but I haven't eaten.
I know, I've had the banana, didn't I? My apple's still over there in my crisp.
I've had one piece of chocolate. That's all I've had.
It's not good though.
Crazy times.
That's why.
Right, we're going to leave it there. Thank you for participating. Tomorrow, one way or another, it'll be seamless. Absolutely seamless. You watch.
Will.
Get a new piece of kit tomorrow that will hopefully...
And it'll be 5 o'clock.
Yeah, it will be 5 o'clock. It will be.
Positive.
So thanks for watching, and we'll catch everyone tomorrow.